Namaste. I'm Simon and I'm here to share this practice with you. This is a short practice and it is a practice I call getting in. It's about getting into the body. And so I'd like to give you a little bit of background information about this. If you prefer to just skip straight to the practice, then just skip ahead. For me, what's important about the work I'm sharing here is that this is an approach to opening a yoga practice or starting a yoga practice that is very kind to the body, because there's a lot of time for warming the body up and opening the body, connecting to the breath and exploring. So it's not so much about just sort of ordering your body around and telling your body what to do. This is a really important part of my work, and I'm really excited and I love sharing this because I feel that I see so many people need this. Traditionally, if I may use the word traditionally, you may see yoga being practiced in a way where people can be quite tough on their bodies. They sort of order their bodies around and sort of boss their bodies around, if I may use that expression. You see people starting yoga and they just go straight into the Sun Salutation at the very beginning of the class, right? And it's very much sort of from one pose to the next. It can be pretty tough. What I see with my yoga students is that a lot of the students just need more time to get into the body. What's important to me is that I'm not teaching a yoga which we can describe as the yoga of India that came to the West. I don't really believe in that anymore. I'm practicing and teaching the yoga from the East that when it arrived in the West, it met the wisdom of the West. And I feel that that is actually a natural process that happens when something is transferred from one culture to another. So, this is what I've studied for many years, is this beautiful flow-based and breath-based practices that are really a fusion of Western somatic intelligence, kinaesthetic awareness, kind of exploring and getting to know your body from the inside rather than enforcing something on the body from the outside. So join me for a short practice that is something you could do as a way of starting your yoga practice, absolutely. But you could just do this as a short practice all on its own. Getting into the body. Welcome to this short practice, getting in, and let's get in. I have a blanket. I'm sitting on a nicely folded up blanket. This is something that I suggest students to use in all of my classes, really. I love the blanket. It's also really nice for the knees. When we spend time on the knees, the blanket is nice and soft. I have 2 blocks. I do love using 2 blocks, and if you have the luxury that you have 2 blocks lying around, please make use of them. And if you don't, then I will offer some other suggestions. So I'm sitting up, and then I'm going to use the fingertips to press down into the floor and just find some rooting here, feeling this earthing quality of grounding, right? So really rooting into the earth and then experiencing immediately that there is a certain awakening of energy that flows through the spine. Because I'm rooting down, I feel a certain rising up. And this is a beautiful feeling of lightness. So as I bring the hands onto the knees, I'm going to start this self-inquiry, which is so important, is to keep returning to this question. And the question really is, how am I? So I'm starting the practice from this how am I? A checking in, right? Have the courage to be honest, which is to really see and feel what's going on in this body. How is my body feeling right now? What body am I starting the practice with? What have I brought to the practice? What quality of body? Am I feeling heavy, blocked? Or is there lightness? Is there spaciousness? Is there pain, tightness? Whatever's there, let's notice what's there so we acknowledge where we're starting from. Okay. And then I'd just like to invite you to start. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see from the side. To start to mobilize the spine, and the movement is initiated from the pelvis. The pelvis, is kind of rocking forward a little bit, and then back up. It's just a little bit of a feeling of rocking over the sitting bones, right? I do try to reach through the spine and tilt the pelvis to feel that reach through the spine, reaching forward through the heart, and then kind of rolling back through the sitting bones a little bit so that here's a rocking back. Okay, so just getting into this softly. Keep it going. Nice and slow. I don't want you to feel you're rushed. I might do it a bit faster than I want you to do it because I'm demonstrating and I just want to show you so that you can enjoy it. Now, while I'm doing this, it's a liberating of the spine and a softening of the spine, moving beyond rigidity, so that we're not starting from rigidity, we're starting from softening. And we call it soft power, fluid power. So, checking in on the breath as we're doing this, just checking in on the breath. How is the quality of breath? Notice and invite the breath to flow. Invite the breath to flow. We don't want to feel that we're holding or blocking the breath. This is so important. This is connecting to everything. If we can find a beautiful, harmonious flow of breath, then we can experience that in our bodies, in our hearts, and in our minds. So this is really at the heart of the yogic wisdom, is the harmonizing and balancing of the breath and the effect this has on all of the layers of ourselves. Let's walk your right hand out and then let your left arm cross the sky, moving into this beautiful side bend here. And as you feel this arm reaching, don't forget about the ass, your left sitting bone is pressing down. It so easily comes up, but rather you want to feel the arm is reaching this way and the sitting bone is reaching the other way. And you feel this lovely stretch and opening of the side body. And we want to breathe into the side body and feel the breath here, really feel the movement of breath. You should be able to see my ribs moving as I take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Let's take another one of those. Drink the breath, a deep breath in. And coming back. I'm going to change legs and then I'm going to go over to the other side. But I'm starting from being tall. If I'm sitting dropping, it's not good to go to the side bend. So let's find the lift, rooting to rise. Big circle, your left hand walks out, your right arm crosses the sky, and then keep rooting your right sitting bone and feel the breath moving through the side body. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And again, deep breath in, and feet on the floor, holding onto the knees. I'm going to turn sideways. So my feet are not too close together. They're really as wide as my hips, or even a little bit wider than my hips. As I'm pulling on the knees, this is helping me to tilt the pelvis, shoulders opening, heart opening. I'm even opening my throat. I even feel like I'm opening my third eye. It's really like opening to the sky. Lovely. Okay. And now the next movement is the opposite. It's the tailbone moving down, rocking over the pelvis, rounding the back, hanging back in the arms. Arms are stretching. Okay, so those movements together are on the breath. This is the in-breath through the nose. Out-breath from the throat. Let's do 4. Deep breath in, out. And again, in, and out. 2 more. In, and out. 1 more. In, and out. Legs reaching forward, and again I'm sitting tall. I'm going to reach the arms forward. I'm going to try to keep sitting tall, but I don't have my arms to help me. I'm not able to press the floor away because my arms are floating up, and then they float down into the heart. Okay, and you're going to do that on the breath. So this is breathing in, and breathing out. 1 more. Breathing in, breathing out. Good. Left leg comes in, right leg is reaching forward. I still have the fingertips on the floor. Now, I'm going to take my left arm forward. Okay, so right leg is forward, left arm is forward. Left arm is like a rainbow. It crosses the sky, opens the chest, and comes down behind me. And I find the floor here. I'm still sitting tall. The right foot comes in, okay, so that it's ready to press the floor away. As I go up onto the left hand, with my hips are going to go into the air, then I want the outside of the foot to root to the floor, and then the top arm crosses the sky into this beautiful, lovely stretch here, opening the body with a lot of support, so it's not too heavy yet on the arm. We've got the knee to help. Breathe deeply, enjoy, reach, and come down. And again, take both legs forward. I'm changing sides so you can see. I'm sitting, pressing the fingertips into the floor. Here's the in-breath. Here's the out-breath. Synchronized breath and movement. Here's the in-breath. Here's the out-breath. So the right leg is coming in. I'm using the fingertips to sit tall. This is the right arm reaching forward. So it's left leg forward, right arm forward. Open the sky, open the shoulder, open the chest. Feel this drawing your body open, right? Finding the floor, I'm bringing this foot in and rising, and then reach across over the head. Feel the spinning open of the chest. Reach, breathe, lovely. And coming down again, both feet on the floor, and with both feet on the floor, returning to rising here. Another round of those breaths, but only 2. So pulling up, breathing in from the throat. One more time, breathe in and breathing out. Sitting up, getting the hands on the floor, the fingers are facing forward. And then as the shoulders roll back and the heart reaches through, I press up into tail. Nice and high in tail. Try not to let the hips drop, keep rooting to rise. And let's have 2 deep breaths here. So deep breath in. And a deep breath out. 1 more deep breath in. And down. Crossing the knees to come onto the hands and knees. Good. Now, what I'm going to do with my with my blanket, is I'm going to leave my blanket in the middle of the mat. So I've got my knees on the blanket. I pretty much leave the blanket here the whole time. It's not really going to be in my way when we go into the standing poses. So I'll press into downward dog. And in downward dog, I'm just pressing the heels to the ground. So if I show you from the side, you can see I'm just pressing the heels to the ground one at a time, just kind of deepening into the dog. Deepening into the dog, oozing into the dog, easing into the dog. So not forcing myself into the dog, but just kind of easing into it. Nice. And then let's extend both legs. The knees don't have to stretch completely,
But just extend the legs and try to deepen into the dog. Nice. And I'm lowering the knees onto the floor. And slowly I'm going to come all the way up onto flying knees. Really high. Sitting up nice and high on the knees. I'm going to reach my arms to the side and my fingertips are going to touch the back of my head. So I'm resting a little bit the head into the hands, but then feel the lift out of the hips up and open the heart. And let's just breathe the sky. Deep breathing. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. 2 more. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. 1 more. Deep breath in. And hands and knees. Downward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. You enjoy. Stay in downward facing dog. Just for a few beautiful balanced breaths. And then I'm going to invite you to flow to high plank. Now let's just feel the power of plank. The head reaching forward, the heels pressing back, strong core. And then press back to downward facing dog again. I want to repeat that on the breath. So I'm going high plank, breathe in. Downward dog, breathing out. Yeah? High plank is a deep in breath. Down dog is a deep out breath. 2 more times. High plank is a deep in breath. Down dog, deep out breath. 1 more deep breath in. And downward facing dog, sinking into it, deepening. 3. Deepening. 4. And the hands are going to walk back to the feet. So the hands walk back to the feet. When they get back there, let's have the feet nice and wide and bend the knees. Look, my elbows are resting on my legs and my heart is reaching forward. Yeah? And then slowly, as the bum moves under and the chest rises, I'm able to come up. I interlace my fingers, press away the sky as I stretch the legs. Press away the sky as I stretch the legs. And then again, I'm going to sit. And the sitting is deep. I'm really getting in there. Hips back and sitting deep into it. We're going to synchronize this to the breath and get some energy flowing through this body. So this is breathing in. And sitting deep, breath out. Now let's lengthen the breath. Use a bit of ujjayi. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in, 2, 3. Deep breath out. 2, 3. Deep breath in. And we sit, stay. Now feel this beautiful quality of grounding, really sitting deep into the hips. And of course, it's quite wonderfully and effectively warming up the thigh. You want to feel that. 2 breaths. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. 1 more deep breath in. And downward facing dog. We're back into downward facing dog. I'm bringing the feet together in down dog. And I'm reaching the right leg up and I'm opening the right hip. So 1-legged dog. Yeah, this is the variation of 1-legged dog where the hip is open. Pay attention to some details, which is that the hip is opening, but the shoulder is not opening. Both shoulders rooting to the earth. Keep the shoulders square to the earth. Dive in. And I'm going to step forward. This is where I'm going to get the blocks. If you have blocks, this is where we're using the blocks. Okay, so I have the blocks. I want to keep the blocks directly under my shoulders. I want to feel the heart reaching forward and the heel pressing back. So don't collapse into this pose. Like I'm doing it now, this is really collapsing. And of course, when people have their hands flat on the floor, we see a lot of collapsing. So rather, a rooting through the blocks, reaching forward through the heart, reaching back through the heel. Feel the spaciousness and energy flow through the pose. Let's have 2 flowing Ujjayi breaths. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Stepping forward. Get both hands on the blocks if you have blocks. Heart reaching forward. And forward bend. Let's find the pulse of the heart. Heart reaches forward, extending the spine. Breathe in. And forward bend. Breathing out. And one more of those. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bending the knees. This is Utkatasana, a chair pose. But I'm doing it where I'm sitting deep and I'm keeping the arms really reaching, but I'm not bringing the hands together. I'm also not bringing the legs together. Not yet, you see. This is just kind of a warm-up, just get the body feeling that energy flow. And I'm just sitting into this. So as I stretch the legs, lift through the pelvic floor, the belly, up and over. Feel this opening of the body. Wow, it's kind of like hallelujah, you're opening to the sky. And then I'm sitting into it again. We're going to do this on the flow of the breath. Breathe in. And again, sitting and breathing. Another one, deep breath. In. Deep breath. Last time, deep breath. In. And flow to the earth. Long spine. And forward bend. Hands on the blocks if you like. Heart reaches forward. Breathe in. Forward bend, breathe out. Left leg steps back. We are again in the lunge. So we have the same leg forward. But this time I'll get rid of the blocks. I'll have the left hand flat on the floor. And I'll spin the chest and reach to the sky. Feel this spinning open of the chest. And also this reaching through the back heel. Energy flow in all directions. Deep breathing. Until you're ready to find your way back to hands and knees. So it's hands and knees, right? And on hands and knees, I'm curling the toes under. And I'm putting my bum on the heels. And I'm going for the fingertips. This is not the downward facing dog. This is downward facing cat. For some reason, the cat is less well known than the dog. Check it out. It's a wonderful stretch. Fingertips, you see. Bum on the heels and dive through the heart. Breathe. And I'll travel forward, my weight moving forward. Toes are still curled under. And I'm getting into one line. So the hips, they're not back here, because that's not a plank. They're also not hanging here. Just find that support, find that dunda, right? Keep the core strong. You only go as deep as you can. It depends how strong you're feeling today. Maybe you only go till here, but maybe you go deeper. But don't collapse through the belly. It is a plank. And pressing up is still a plank. There's no cobras here, no back bends, okay? So let's do it on the breath. Stay up, take a deep breath in. Plank down, breathe out. And again, plank up, breathe in. Plank down, breathe out. Plank up, breathe in. And next time, all the way down. We're going to interlace the hands behind the back. Stretch the knees. Even pull the knees up so that, I'm pulling my knees up. My feet remain on the floor. Interlacing the fingers. The hands are off the body. Shoulders roll back. Heart rises, okay? Now feel you breathe into the heart and the heart rises as you reach, breathe in. And breathe out. And again, breathe in. And breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Let's relax. Take a moment. Rest your head on your hands, breathe, breathe, breathe. And the focus now as you're lying on the floor with your head on your hands, the focus is absolutely on deep breathing, but absolutely on breathing out. Okay, let's just see if you can allow yourself, please allow yourself to let go. All right, let's find the pulse between activation, that's energy, that's effort. We're doing that, and that is charging, and then we've got to do discharging, releasing, letting go, right? That's a pulse. So here, the discharging, I'll invite you to breathe with me as you're lying with your head on your hands. Take deep breath in. Let it go, deep breath out. One more time, deep breath in. And deep breath out. I'm returning to hands and knees and downward facing dog. And when you return to downward facing dog, I'll say something that I said before, but I'm going to say it again. Don't smack your body into the dog. Move into the dog exploratively, you know. Ask the question, how's my dog? Get to know it from the inside, revisit it, you know. This is a way of practicing yoga that I'm sharing with you where we really truly get to feel and understand that we never do any pose in the same way twice. And in this way, your yoga always remains new. Your yoga always remains fresh. Because this one-legged dog that you're doing now is different from any other one-legged dog you've ever done in your life. This is a different moment. This is a different body. So dive in and enjoy. Remember to keep the shoulders square. Don't let the left hip is opening, but left shoulder is not opening, okay? And when you're ready, let's move forward, stepping forward. So I was asking you last time to use the blocks in this lunge. Absolutely. But I forgot to say, for people who don't have blocks, we use fingertips. You know, fingertips. If you don't have blocks, use fingertips. But blocks would be great because it's just lovely at the start of class to feel how the blocks help you to open the body and have support of the blocks to feel what? To feel the reaching through the heart. Yeah, this is so different. You see, I'll do it again. So it's not this. Here we go. There's the reaching through the heart and the reaching back through that heel and feel the energy flow through the body. 2 deep Ujjayi breaths. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And again, deep breath in. Deep breath out. Stepping forward to reach the heart forward. Breathe in. Forward and breathe out. One more time, reach the heart forward, extend, breathe in. Forward bend, breathe out. As I bend the knees, I'm going into Utkatasana. So as I said last time, deep into the hips, deep, sit back a little. And we try to keep the arms behind the ears. Really sitting deep into it. This time we're not going to stretch the legs. We just want to feel, in-breath gives you a reaching feeling, and out-breath gives you a deepening. And again, in-breath gives you a reaching, out-breath gives you a deepening. One more time, in-breath, forward, bend, heart reaches forward, breathe in, and forward bend, breathe out. Right leg steps back into a lunge. I'll get the blocks out of the way. I have the right hand flat on the floor. Reach through the back knee. And left arm spins open, chest opens. Feel that reach, feel that expansion. Nice. 2 deep breaths here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more time. Deep breath in. And downward facing dog. Yeah? Enjoy deepening your downward facing dog. And then from here, let's flow to high plank We will put the knees on the floor, so it's knee plank. Toes are still curled under. I lower to low plank, keep the core strong. And I bring the hands next to my chest. So we're not coming all the way up, we're preparing the cobra. I'm suggesting you to start from hands really quite wide. And in line with the chest, but quite wide. And let's just roll the shoulders forward and back, up and down. Forward and back, up and down. Just mobilize the shoulders. And when you find back and down, next time, back and down, stay there. Keep shoulders back and down. Press the floor away. So it's the heart that's rising, but not the shoulders. The shoulders stay down, right? And then I'll flow down. If you're feeling flexible enough in your back and you say, oh, I want to bring the hands closer, well, that's great. We do want to bring the hands closer, but I'm suggesting start wide and check in and kind of help the body to open gently. And then I'm going to flow down again. Now we're going to do one more, but let's really do it on the flow of the breath, okay? So I'm rising on the in-breath and flowing down on the out. Hands and knees downward facing dog. Really revisiting, returning to downward facing dog. Enjoy. Breathe into downward facing dog. Feel the body opening. Feel that we're entering into a flow state more and more. So we're really opening the body from that flow state. When you're ready, try to jump to the front of the mat. If it doesn't work to jump to the front of the mat, then just walk to the front of the mat. I'll see you when you get there. And we're going to extend the heart forward in Ardha Uttanasana. And a forward bend. Exhale. Let's do another one of those. In, breath. Out, breath. Bend the knees, look forward, arms reach back. We swing up on the in-breath. In-breath. And hands to the heart. I'm going to get the hands on the hips. I'm going to step the left leg back. We're going into first warrior. Let me face you this way. Please notice in first warrior that the heels cannot cross. So that heel cannot go behind that one. Find that beautiful foundation and square the hips. So this means you're bringing your left hip towards me, like I'm bringing my right hip towards you. And we take a moment for that kind of ease into it and find that ground and rooting and squaring off. Nice. Play around with your heels if you need to find a good foot position. And then let's just swing the arms up and feel the lifting out of the hips, gentle activation of the bandhas. And when the hands flow down, let's sink deeper into that first warrior. Synchronize it to the breath. Breathe in. Deep breath out. One more time. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Downward facing dog. We're getting ready now to do, for the first time today, our uninterrupted vinyasa, flowing through the plank, low plank, back bend. But when we do it, please adjust it to your body's needs. So if you need knees on the floor, you do it. If you need wider hands for the cobra, you do it. So meet me in downward facing dog. Let's have 2 breaths in downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And another deep breath in. And a deep breath out. High plank, breathe in. Low plank, breathe out. Your back bend on the in-breath, and you find your way back to downward facing dog. Deepening 3. Deepening 4. Deepening 5. Jumping or stepping to the front of the mat. When you get there, heart reaches forward, breathe in. Forward bend, breathe out. Go for another one of those. Heart reaches forward on the in-breath. Forward bend on the out. Bending the knees, looking forward, arms swing back. Here we go, sweeping up on the in-breath. And hands to the heart. So your right leg steps back. As your right leg steps back, then you lower the heel. Careful not to cross the heels. You cannot do that in First Warrior. It makes it very difficult to keep your right hip forward. And you want to keep your right hip moving forward and squaring off the hips. Adjust the heels of the feet so you find a position you're happy with. A little bit of core support, activation, so we're not collapsing into the lower back. Rooting to the floor, feel the rising energy, lift off your hips, breathe in. Try sink into the front leg deeper, keep rooting the feet. Let's do 2 more, in breath. Out breath. 1 more time, in breath. And downward facing dog. Take a moment in downward facing dog to get into it nice and deep. I'm going to prepare with 2 breaths. You stay in downward facing dog for 2 breaths. And then we flow together through this connecting vinyasa. So down dog, take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. 1 more time, deep breath in. Deep breath out. High plank. Breathe in. Your low plank. Breathe out. Your back bend on the in breath. And find your way to downward facing dog. Just gently breathing in downward facing dog. Just breathing in. And let it be a releasing of any tension that builds up, So allow yourself now in the downward dog to into a cleansing breath. If you feel it gives you a release. This is something that happens with yoga, unfortunately, is that we even build up tension doing yoga because we're trying hard. So find a balance between charging and discharging, Release it. A few breaths in downward facing dog until you're ready to let the hands walk back to the feet. So the hands walk back to the feet. And then we're going to bend the knees, look forward, and swing up. Nice. My feet are quite wide. And I'm opening the sky. You see this? This is the feeling of opening the sky. Beautiful feeling, okay? Pressing up like this, opening the sky and pressing open, but to the back. So if I turn sideways, you'll see it's really opening to the back. So it's opening the heart. Wow. And the breathing is incredibly important here. I'd love you to try it because it feels fantastic. So through the nose, breathe in. And this is. And again, breathe in. And breathe in. Good. Hands together. They rise up. And then draw heaven down to earth, Just connect back into your center. No more breathing through the mouth. We're trying again to rebalance the flow of breath, breathing through the nose. In, breath. Out, breath. One more time, really centering, connecting, dropping back in, breath. Release the hands, feel this pressing to the earth. Bend the knees, sit. The feeling here is earth. Why not just bounce it like earth. Oh, that's an out breath. In breath. Out breath. Now as I turn the hands around, collecting and lifting, this is really fire arising, energy rising, prana arising, filling my heart, feeling lightness. In breath. Overflowing back to the earth. Out breath. Calling this balancing earth and sky. Okay, so this is sky. Breathe in. Earth. Breathe out. Again, breathe in. And breathing out one last time. Breathe in. Breathing out. Interlacing the hands behind the back. Stretching the legs. Hands away from the body. Opening the heart. And just gentle sky breath. So we are again offering the breath from the throat, connecting to infinite space. So in through the nose. Yeah. One more time, deep breath in. Deep breath out. Collecting the elbows at the front. When I collect the elbows at the front, I sit into my knees, take my hips back like chair pose, and I'm sending the elbows forward, reaching, extending my spine, like as if I want my elbows to touch the wall in front of me, lengthening my spine. And I want this long spine to flow into this forward bend, this hanging. And now let gravity do the work, hanging. Slowly to downward facing dog. Deepening. Balancing the breath. Deepening 3. Deepening 4. High plank, as I said, with the planks, you choose if you want the knees on the floor or not. Flow to low plank and rise into your back bend and stay. Now in back bend, pressing the floor away, rising through the heart. Let's feel that you actually fill the heart. Deep breath in and deep breath out. One more time, fill the heart. Breathe in. And flowing into child pose, folding over the knees. And relax. Breathe. So when you're ready, slowly come up to sitting. I'm sitting on my folded up blanket again. I'm just taking a moment to reconnect, to drop back in, to feel. Balancing the breath. And returning to that inner research. How am I? Self-inquiry. To understand, what I want to understand is what the effect is. How has this made me feel? In which way do I feel more connected to my body, my breath, more embodied? And has anything shifted on the level of my way of feeling, my feeling state? Trying to remember how I felt at the beginning, to understand what has shifted. And embrace whatever is happening, embrace it, and receiving this moment as a teacher. What I'm feeling now, what can I learn from it? What am I learning? What is the teaching that is arising from within? Bringing our hands to our hearts. Breathe into the heart, smile. Heart, smile. Bless yourself. Be kind to yourself, support yourself, forgive yourself, believe in yourself, trust yourself, honor yourself. And again, fill the heart. Breathe in. And let it flow out, breathing out.
time, feel the heart. Breathe in. And exhaling and just bowing the head to the heart. Thank you. Thank you, and namaste. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you feel in from this getting in practice. Getting in softly, not forcefully, but rather organically, holistically, and entering the soft way, not forcing. Happy to share this with you.